After being at the orchard all day, I've come to my friend Brooke's house because I'm really excited to cook with some of the fresh produce I've picked up. Today's dish is going to be a pan-seared duck breast with caramelised quince. Quince isn't something that everyone's used before, and the biggest rule of quince is you need to cook it. You can't eat it raw, it's too bitter and it's too hard. There's a couple of ways to cook it. You can either roast it or you can poach it, but today we're going to caramelise it. To do this, you just need to make a basic toffee. We need a cup and a half of caster sugar. Get that in your pot, and just enough water just to dissolve the sugar. When you make toffee, all the water does is stop the sugar from burning. When it actually changes colour and becomes toffee, that's when all the water is evaporated. So that looks pretty good there, all the sugar's dissolved. You want to try and avoid the sugar getting around the edge because that can cause it to go cloudy. So now our toffee's ticking away, we can chop our quince up. When you're chopping your quince, just top and tail, and then just segment it up. You really want to make sure you cut the core out because that will never soften. Doesn't matter how long you cook it for, the core is going to stay way too hard to eat. For our dish, I think 6 will do, so I'll just put that aside. When you're peeling your quinces, just make sure you take the skin off and take the core out. That's all you're trying to do. But you don't want to take too much flesh off at the same time. So now that your toffee started to change colour, that means it's time to add your quinces. So just throw them in. So now we'll leave our quinces just to soak up a bit of the toffee, and that will give us the chance to get our duck on. So duck's really becoming more and more available now. You can get it in almost all the supermarkets, but you're still going to get a really good quality duck breast from your butcher. So cooking duck is just pretty much the same as cooking chicken. If you have a whole duck, you can just roast it like you would a whole chicken. And if you have a duck breast like this, you can either roast it in the oven or sear it off in a pan, just as you would with a chicken breast. A lot of people think that duck is quite fatty, but most of that fat actually cooks out when you cook the duck and just leaves a nice crispy skin. So it's not actually as bad for you as a lot of people think. So just give your duck breast just a nice light seasoning on either side, just with some salt. Then just a little bit of oil in the pan, not too much because we want it to become nice and crispy. If you put too much oil, it's going to make it go soggy. So take your duck breast and put it in the pan, skin side down, and just cook around 4 minutes either side. If it's a large breast, of course, do it a little bit longer. If it's a bit smaller, then a little bit less. But you really want to avoid overcooking it. Our quinces have now started to soak up the toffee, so it's time to add some water to it. We just want to loosen that toffee off a bit because if you're just allowed to cook out in a toffee like that, it's just going to burn. Whereas this sort of creates a bit of a caramel sauce from it, and it allows it to cook down with it and cook the quinces out. You should see now that the skin is nice and crispy. If it's not, flip it back over, let it go for a little bit longer. But you can see there, that's really nice and crispy. It's got a really nice even colour. It's exactly what you're looking for. So now your quinces have come to the boil, just turn them down on low and let them just tick away for half an hour. Just make sure you test them. You just want them to be nice and soft. If they're still too hard, just cook them for a little bit longer. Duck and quince, it's a really good combination. The sourness of the quince and the sweetness of the duck really plays off each other and brings them both together and tastes absolutely beautiful. Our duck now has been 4 minutes either side, so I'm just going to pop it on my board to rest. So now our duck's resting, it's time to plate it up, so we need to grab out our stuff for our salad. Grab a plate and serve it up. So for our salad, I've just got a really simple one. I've just got some mixed lettuce and just some apple and some carrot and some parsnip. We just pop it in together. Just a little bit of olive oil as well. And then just give it a bit of a toss. So we've got a really nice crispy salad because that's really going to add another texture to the dish. Just slice your duck, not too thin because you want to make sure you keep as much moisture in there as possible. So I cook my duck medium to medium well. It's quite acceptable to eat it underdone. It's not like chicken, there's not the salmonella levels in it, So whatever you like your meat cooked at, generally you can cook duck there. And now just add your quinces. Just 1 or 2 will do. You don't want to overdo it. And some of the sauce as well over the duck. And there it is, a beautiful pan-seared duck breast with caramelised quinces. Give it a go at home, I'm sure you'll love it. And coming up after the break, a raspberry poached pear with cinnamon semi-freddo.